question is, are you ready?
What's going on, Crema de Nona? How are we doing out there today? So, it is a fine Friday, maybe a little damp in the morning, although it's been a little damp this whole week, it seems. Tuesday we did our finger check, make sure everybody's got their fingers after our 4th of July weekend last week. And yeah, today we got something a little bit different for you. So, if you notice, we don't have Julio. Julio was a little discouraged. I was bringing on another group that we have in Lake Nona that is an advocate for business. I've got Joel with Lake Nona Young Professionals.
Oh yeah, we scared Julio away a little bit. He felt like he didn't quite fit into the young professional world. I'd say gray hair, but the bald hair there. That's
Yeah, well, he's got the gray beard.
True.
Yeah,
he's kind of.
He's working on getting into the next Lord of the Rings movie, so
That's right.
he's going to be the next Gandalf. But yeah, he said, you know what? I don't know if I could hang with the young professionals. They won't let him in. But he didn't understand that this is Crema de Nona, and we kind of do whatever we want. Yeah. So anyway, this is kind of cool. Those of you that have not seen it, he actually brought me on with our PH strategies. To the Lake Nona Young Professionals. Did a presentation over there. I think it went quite well. Hopefully, everybody got some great information. And if you haven't seen it, go to their page. You got a Facebook page.
Yes, we have a Facebook page. It's Lake Nona Young Professionals. Definitely check that out. It was wonderful. We got some good responses. A lot of people viewed it. So again, it's things like that. It's a tremendous opportunity, and thank you again for doing that. We appreciate it.
No problem. So what did I do? I dragged him on Crema de Nona. So
of course, that's how.
Now I'm going to grill him for a while. So those of you that don't know, Joel Ferguson, his actual job, you're with Edward Jones.
Correct.
So as far as if you've got any questions, as far as like any kind of stocks trading, financial planning, any of that kind of stuff, he can help you out with a lot of that stuff. But give him a call, and can you give him your number or how to get a hold of you for that?
Yep. You can reach me. The office is 407-203-8337.
So yeah, any questions you have on that kind of stuff, get in touch with him, and he's very knowledgeable. Sit down, have a conversation. As we say a lot of times, a conversation doesn't really cost anything, and maybe it'll do something of tremendous value for you. So you never know. So let's dive into it. What do you have as far as what is Lake Nona Young Professionals? Because like Julio, you scared him away. Yeah. He's thinking, well, I'm not 25 years old. I'm not 30 years old. You know, what do you guys focus on? What do you do?
Yeah. So the purpose of the group is to try and hit the category of anyone 40 and under, whether that's just coming out of school or you've been, in your career for a while or trying to make a career change, something like that. But essentially people on the younger end of the spectrum. But in our bylaws, we do say young professionals and those that are young at heart. So we do open up to everyone who's willing to come out because we think the mentorship aspect is really important too. But our entire purpose is really to get young professionals to get connected in the community through nonprofit events or going and volunteering somewhere, connecting with each other so that we can expand our own networks. And then the mentorship aspect or the educational part, whether it's helping us grow on a personal level, so personal development, or business-wise. There's a million different things that we can learn. So we wanted to create this group and have a center and a resource that people can go to and get that information.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I kind of wish I had something like that when I was starting out. I found my way the hard way, school of hard knocks. But I did have a benefit, and we talked about this when I was with you, as far as that mentorship is huge. When
Absolutely.
I first started out, I had a couple of gentlemen that took me under their wings, so to say. I mean, I was a kid, and I was living on my own. Had a career, and they showed me the right way. And that's the other thing.
Yeah.
You guys can focus on the right way of doing business.
Exactly. Because I think anyone that's been working for long enough has that person that can be their mentor in their field itself. But there's so many other aspects of life that we don't know where to go to, who to reach out to. we have so many questions. I'm in my own profession, finances alone. Um, you don't learn that in school unless you go and sit down with someone. You're not going to learn those things. So I'm easy to pick on, and I'll pick on myself.
Yeah.
But it's, again, we wanted to create that resource where we do the vetting or we get recommendations from people who have had good experiences and people have things to add value. I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and honestly, I think you can find value in just about anything that's out there if you just take a second to look for it. I mean, even a bad situation when you get stuck in, God knows what it could be. I mean, try and find one thing that's out of, like this broadcast today. Who the hell knows what you're going to get out of Crema de Nona,
Right.
but maybe there's something that can help you along on that. Now, in addition to some of the mentorship, now you did mention as far as like even in the personal life, so it's also kind of like support.
Correct. Yeah. So we have a tremendous board. Let me start out with that. Some very creative people. I'm very grateful to have such a strong team behind me.
Who's all on your board? Anybody I know?
Yeah, so a couple people that I think everyone should be familiar with them. So Tanya, she's part of our board. She's been phenomenal. She's our treasurer. Really keeps me in line, which is good.
I suppose a bookkeeper would be.
Yeah,
So
kind of
good to
fits
have
hand in
in there.
hand there.
And Tanya, I need you to get a hold of me, and I've got someone else that's going to be looking for you too. So get in touch. I'm calling you out right here on Crema de Nona. So
Yeah, and that's also credit to Crema. I would have met Tanya if it wasn't for Crema, and look at this relationship we have now, and she's on the board, and we're doing great things.
yeah, excellent.
So it works. If you don't realize it or not, this stuff works, and you do make connections. And the other one from Crema directly was Anthony with Silvera IT.
Yeah, Anthony, well. I haven't talked to you in a while either. We gotta do a little bit of catching up. Maybe it's time to bring you back on. Maybe there's something else we need to check on our IT stuff. But yeah, so I know you gotta. So that's two people, and if you haven't sat down and had lunch with them, reach out to them as well. Have some coffee, have a lunch, meet with them, find out about their businesses, and again, find out what they're doing in Lake Nona and for their local community. Because I know you as well as them are both involved in various other things, whether it be various chambers and other stuff. So you guys are active in the community, which
absolutely,
and you know how I feel about that. It's a great way to give back. It's a great way to get business. I mean, you help out other people.
Yeah.
Sometimes it comes back on you because it basically shows a lot of the character and stuff that you have.
And it's a things you're genuinely interested in. But again, sometimes you don't know what route to go to get there. Some other people that are on the board that you might not be aware of, or maybe you are. Ray Rios, he has his own firm called RP Consulting. We also have Vanessa with Ron McDonald House. She's fantastic. She's actually our nonprofit chair, which I was really excited to have someone take on that.
That's kind of neat.
So we'll talk about that a little bit more, but I was excited to have her on board and get her in the group. We also have someone called Jasmine Clayton. She takes care of events, and that's actually her job. She does event planning and weddings and all that stuff. So try to surround myself with people that have a lot of skills that are great and fantastic that I lack in, because that builds a great team. Picking on Anthony again. Yes, I'm young. I'm 26. I'm not the most tech savvy. I can get around, but Anthony walks in. He starts talking about all these different things. He's like, yeah, let's hop on Slack. Let's do all this great website. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. So again, it's different things like that where he's really taught me a lot in a short period of time. And really helped take this group to the next level. So.
No, that's great, and other things come out on Crema too. So he's not a good millennial.
No, I'm not. I'll admit that right away. So yeah,
he's actually one of us older guys. Seasoned veterans.
Yes, good or bad. Yeah.
Yeah. So another thing, and we've talked about this before. When you look at your larger corporations, and I think it really starts. Seating in when you're more of a middle-sized business growing into a bigger one, you have people within the company that you can bring to the table, so to say, to discuss what's going on, what you're going to do, what's your future, setting your goals. There's people around there, and not just setting your goals, but someone to hold you accountable for what the goals that you're setting are. But small businesses, and a lot of times, especially when you're just starting in business, whether you happen to be 20 years old or 50 years old, there's people of all ages really starting out, but you don't have the luxury of that support group, that boardroom, to where you can sit down and bring somebody along. Can you talk a little bit about what you do as far as that part of it, the boardroom aspect of it for young professionals?
Yeah. So a lot of it is somewhat idea sharing. You have different people in different stages of their either business or in their career. So someone that's just starting out, trying to figure out, how do I even get started with a business? What's the appropriate business registration I need to do? What are some mistakes that you made? What things can I learn from? So having this younger group in this think tank essentially allows us to have that discussion of, hey, we tried this didn't work out very well, so how about you think of this direction instead? Or some of us, we're just so blinded with this one idea we can't see past it. So you get a different perspective, or someone from a different walk of life that says, hey, you're trying to go after this niche, but you're so focused over here. If you just change these words or change what you're trying to do, what you're trying to target, that'll open up this entire world to you, and your business starts taking off from there. So it's a good way for us to bounce ideas off of each other, and again, it's more of an open environment. We've all made mistakes. There's no judgments, and
you keep making mistakes. That doesn't go away.
It doesn't stop.
But then again, if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying, and if you're not trying, you might as well just stay on your whatever job, collecting tickets at a show or something.
Exactly. And with how quickly things are changing in this world anyway, it's nice to have people in those different stages, whether it's a year out, 2 years, 5 years. And again, the mentorship aspect of someone that's been in that industry for 20, 25 years, a lot of the same principles are going to apply no matter what's going on. So
a lot more mistakes.
Right. I was trying to be nice about it, but yeah.
It happens, but you learn from your failures. Whenever you failure is not a bad thing. It's just like on sales training. No is not a bad word. No means you haven't done your job. But same thing, if you haven't failed, I guess in a way you haven't done your job either.
Right.
Not everything works. Not every time you step up to the plate you hit a home run. So you got to try. It goes back to that. Just got to keep pushing forward, do new things. But just the fact of having other people in the room that are in your same situation, not necessarily your same business.
Right. And then the accountability aspect. You get together, maybe you form that strong connection with one or two people in the group, and you go off and do your own thing, but you're holding each other accountable. It's, hey, I saw you last month. You said you were working on this. How'd that go? Did our ideas work? Were they terrible? Do we need to start over again? But that accountability is huge. And it's something that I think, especially on the small business aspect or the entrepreneurs, you really lack that. You feel like you're alone. So creating that environment has been tremendous for us.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And talking about that, I'm going to self-plug myself here. So go to my website, rphstrategies.com. I do have an article I actually just released on goal setting realistic goals, and finding a trusted source, whether it's, a spouse, another business, someone else you can relate to, talk to. But just the fact of writing down your goals, you increase it by about 10 times being able to accomplish that goal. Now, when you take it a step further and you write an action plan and you sit down, and I tell Joel, hey, Joel, my goal is within the next 6 months to increase 25% of revenue in my business, or whatever your focus might be. Now I'm telling him, so what's going to happen next time I say, how's that thing going that you're talking about? And what are you going to do every week? Say, don't worry about that. It's cool.
It's fine.
Everything's great. But it just the fact of someone else, and it doesn't matter to him whether I do it or not. Well, it does, because on a personal level, you got people that actually care. But for the most part, if I don't do my job, it doesn't affect him, his family, or anything else. He's just watching somebody he genuinely cares for
Yeah.
kind of go to the wayside. So, but internally, when you're the one holding on to that goal and you tell him and he asks you and you got nothing to say, that's where the accountability starts happening.
Correct.
That's where it's nice to have a group such as that. Um, Speaking of, so you deal with the young professionals, obviously, which really that expands to a huge portion of
it's a broad
everything.
range.
We got kids that are coming out of whether it be UCF or whatever we have locally,
Yeah.
Valencia, you name it. We got a bunch of colleges, junior colleges, and that really spawns a lot of people that get that crazy idea. You know what? I'm not working for anybody. I'm starting, from
Yep.
scratch. It's a nice launch pad for them. But the kids that are in school now, you might have some insight on this with your business, as far as like some of the. It's been brought to me as like a 529 or
Yep.
something like that. Can you explain what that is, and especially some of the young professionals that are out there that may not understand it? Can you tell us what that would be and how that could help?
Yeah. So I'll talk broadly. Anyone that knows my industry knows that I can't get too much into specifics. Highly regulated. It's a fun field to be in. Yeah. So 529 plans, how they work is they're an investment account that's used to pay for education. So whether that's tuition, room and board, books, it's very broad, but it has to be used for school-related items. So those that, if you have young kids, you're trying to save up, trying to make sure that they go through college debt free or it's not as much of a burden. Great opportunity. There's a bunch of others that, again, offline, if you want to reach out to me, I'd be happy to discuss with you. But then on the flip side, some of us aren't as fortunate enough to go through college debt free, or even if we get a good chunk paid for, we still have some kind of student loan. So there's two different aspects of that. You have subsidized and then you have unsubsidized. And this gets very confusing very quickly because you fill out your FAFSA form, you see these 20 different loans for 5,000 here, 10,000 here. You don't pay attention to that last column that says whether it's subsidized or unsubsidized. You're just like, I need money so I can continue to get my education. But this is really important. So subsidized loans means that the federal government is going to cover the interest payment while you're in school. So think about a mortgage, you have an interest on that. It'd be as if you did not have to pay interest for that 4-year period or your mortgage payment. It's like nothing happens. You don't build equity, but you're also not going in further into debt for the 4 years you're in school. Whereas an unsubsidized loan is the opposite. If you don't make those payments, that loan amount is just increasing every single year as that interest builds up, penalties build up. So if you're not making payments in school on unsubsidized loans, that's where you see those student loans. People say, "Oh, I had 25,000 when I graduated, and now it's 60. I don't know what to do."
Gets out of hand real quick.
Yeah, that's what happens. Is you get those unsubsidized, and that adds up very quickly.
Now, is that something? Say they are starting a business to where they could go into something such as that, because no matter what business you start, there's going to be an expense. There's going to be a hell of a lot of time that a lot of people just don't account for.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's tough getting capital or getting that extra education, because sometimes you go into a business and realize, oh, I need to have these documents, this specific stuff. Is that something along the same lines where they could get that same kind of program? Say they're out of school, but they have to put themselves back into it.
Yeah. So if it's more of a training aspect or getting certain certifications, sometimes you can. It just depends on the loan that's there. Like you could always go on the private side, get it through a bank or a credit union, something like that. But there's also a lot of grants out there too. And people forget about that. There's so many grants that you can apply for, especially starting young, starting a new business, and minority owners, things like that. That's available. I mean, it might be small, $500 to $1,000, but if that's $500 to $1,000 that you don't have to come up with on your own,
yeah,
That's a big difference.
And you add a couple of those together, you got to start.
Exactly. Exactly. So again, can't dive too much into that. But we have the resources. We know people that do that full time. And again, that's what this whole thing's about, is making those connections. Even if I can't help you directly, here's someone that can, or here's someone that just went through that process, can walk you through it.
Yeah, and I know you can only go so deep into some of the financial stuff, but that's something that is terribly crucial.
Yeah.
Starting a business, financial management is even more crucial. So if you don't have, say, those accounting skills or the bookkeeping skills, something like that, you've got resources and people, just as we do within Crema. And crazy enough, some of them are even the same people that we interchange between groups that are, again, out there in the community doing things for the community.
I'll give a perfect example. I'll leave names out in businesses, but there's someone that I've been working with down in St. Cloud. They've been running their business for probably 2 or 3 years now. They're wondering, how do they take it to the next level? They know I work with retirement plans, things like that. So like, hey, we want to get here. I was like, great, fantastic. I love that. Side note, earlier you start investing, same for retirement, the better. So the fact that these 22, 23-year-old guys are wanting to do that, it's like, this is great, but let's take a step back and look at these other aspects. Where's your business health-wise before we do these other things? So we sat down, we laid out a game plan. They wanted to expand and buy another shop, so we figured out pros and cons of doing all this stuff. And even though that's not related to my business directly, I've worked with enough business owners to where I know how that works. I connected them with a couple other people to make sure their books were in line, and we developed that plan, and now they're moving forward and doing great. I didn't get paid a dime on that. Again, not to toot my own horn, but it's something I'm passionate about, and a lot of other people in this group are, because we want to give back in different ways and use our skills. And if it takes an hour, hour and a half of my time, and it changes their entire business and makes them successful, or gets them to that next level, that's what it's about.
Sometimes it doesn't take a whole lot. I talk about all the time on the sales side of it, and even with everything I'm involved with, I see various businesses where it could be the simplest little thing that I've seen way too many salespeople, good salespeople that could have been great salespeople, go into a different career because of something stupid. And one of the things I do talk about in that article I was referring to, setting ridiculous goals. Don't expect that you're going to make $1 million profit the first year you're in business, unless you happen to be selling industrial kind of equipment, but you're also probably going into it a little bit.
Yeah, I would hope so.
But nonetheless, don't set something that's going to be ridiculous. Set something realistic. Set something where you can break it down, such as, okay, let's just get to $50,000 a year. You want to set your everything you're doing has to equal out to about $25 an hour. So if you're doing something that doesn't equal that, and granted, this doesn't necessarily pay anything for either of us to do, but could it get us in front of somebody? Could it get somebody else somewhere else? Could it do something else? Yeah, that's a possibility. But limit your time. There's also putting back into the community, which both our programs heavily do that.
Absolutely.
We're both involved as far as giving back. I mean, hell, you've got a nonprofit chair that you have on your board, which is absolutely huge. And you know how we at Crema feel as far as the nonprofits, the veterans, local businesses, and things we can do to watch everybody else succeed. But don't set yourself up for failure. Set a couple of easy things. I'm going to make 10 calls today.
Yeah.
You can make 10 calls. You may not want to, but you can make 10 calls. Make them to clients, make them to people, give you that boost of energy, that confidence and everything behind you. Now you got your feet going. You know, that goes a long way. Achieve mindless goals. Simple little things. Don't say I'm going to wake up and make coffee, because that doesn't count, but make your 10 calls. See what happens after that. Maybe you get an opportunity out of one of those 10 calls.
Exactly.
You know, it's little goals, and have the big picture in mind. So you want that 50,000. You want to work on, okay, if I get a client this week, what does that equate to? Could that equate to $1,000? Okay, so now you know if you get one engagement a week, that you can convert, that's your $1,000.
Yep.
Once you do that on a regular basis, do you think it's that much harder to get to? You're already working at it.
Yeah. Just build from there and
little
you're going.
things like that. And then you have your accountability
Exactly.
in place to lock them
Exactly.
into that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So again, it's potential's endless. The opportunity is there. And it's just such a special group, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. But I do want to touch on the nonprofit side. So, and when I set this up, giving back to the community has always been dear to my heart and something that I cared about. And I know a lot of other young professionals care about too. Not to go into details, but with everything going on, people being stuck, they want to know, how do I get involved? What can I do? So we don't have a specific date set for this, but nonprofits in the group, or if you know a nonprofit, have them reach out to me, because we're going to try and do a nonprofit fair to where maybe they get 2 or 3 minutes for each nonprofit to share what they do. Then we're going to try and break them out into different groups with everyone there who's interested in it, so that they can learn more about it, how to get involved, what areas of need they have. Because again, we're here to help each other. So Vanessa's going to be helping lead that off, since she is in the nonprofit world and works for one. She's very talented in that area, but we're excited for that. That's one of the many things that we have going on. But
yeah, no, that's awesome. I do see James with Vancura Accounting Solutions is watching. He did put a tidbit in as far as continuing education is tax deductible in most cases, as he was talking about with some of the interest and stuff like that. There may be some other benefits you can get on that. And any kind of tuition that you have to take on could have various tax benefits and stuff like that as well. So, see, you don't have to talk about finances. We got people that'll take care of it for you. So blame James.
That's right.
But again, it's all the same thing. He's got us, just like Crema de Nona. We're a giant support group for really anybody that wants to connect with us, whether you're a nonprofit wanting to get the word out, or someone in business that, whether you need help, connections, whatever it is, you can always call myself and Julio, and we'll get you set up with people. This, again, we've got another nonprofit that is dealing with nonprofits and helping our younger generation get on their feet, get into business. And honestly, the best way to learn is get in and just do it.
And I can't tell you how many boards I sit on where the average age is double my age. So it's trying to get more younger people involved, because good or bad, we are the next generation. Eventually we will be taking over. So I know. So hopefully that didn't scare everyone off right there. But
now Julio's never going to come back.
Sorry,
hey, thanks a lot.
But it's definitely one of those things. If you can get involved early and get into those mentorship aspects as well, even on the board, knowing why do you do things the way you do? Oh, I didn't think of it that way. Or even bringing fresh ideas, new perspectives, so that the organizations you care about can continue to thrive and move forward, and help people in our community. So there's a lot of different aspects of that. I always get excited when I talk about the nonprofit side, because it's wonderful, and that's why we set ourselves up as a nonprofit, is to have that flexibility to move around and help out where we need to. And James can attest to the tax side of it. It gives us a lot more flexibility, which is good.
And working with nonprofits, again, call an accounting company, or even with Tanya, with the bookkeeper, talk to them about it. Don't trust me. I do sales training. I can help you with your website and various things like that. So just so you know, I hire an accountant, so I don't have to do that. So check with them, see what benefits you get, because you can, if you're thinking that you just don't have it to give, maybe you do, and maybe it'll actually turn out to be a benefit for your business while you're helping something that is helping out your local community and that.
Exactly. And there's also the fun aspect of the young professionals. So a lot of people think we're young, rowdy, like to go out to bars and drink and stuff, and you're not wrong. We do have that aspect, which is good.
Well, some of us have had a little more practice of doing that, and I can't say I'm not necessarily rowdy and whatever when I go out, but I don't think there's any pictures to prove it. So
And that's the key. We always take a picture to start to show that you were there. We're participating, but after that,
Cameras go
good.
away.
It's away. Yeah. There's
Shut
no
off the
more
Wi-Fi.
evidence. That's right. Yeah, and if you've been out to Lake Nona, there's not really service or Wi-Fi anyway. So.
Yeah, there's no proof of anything in Lake Nona. Nothing happens in Lake Nona.
We did that for a reason.
Yeah. Anthony. Anthony shut down the towers.
Yeah.
So
Said he's a talented person.
yeah. Watch, now he's going to get into trouble with this. Yeah. Jesus. Julio made me say it.
That's right. Yeah, Julio's not here, so we can just blame it all on him. It's
That's
fine.
right. When you can't defend yourself, sorry.
Yeah.
So, but it was great having you. I think there was some interesting information that came out of it. And I don't know if all of you knew that we did have a group such as that. And just because you are seasoned and have been around the block doesn't mean you can't engage and mentor and help. And depending on your business, might even be able to do a presentation or something that can help them as far as, yeah, maybe I really do need something with that, or thinking about doing it as something part of your business. I've seen various things where, yeah, I could do that, and I take a look at it. It's like, oh, there's no way in hell I'm spending time on that. You know, it's gonna rack my brain.
Yeah.
You know.
So yeah, if anyone is interested in taking on more of that mentorship role, yeah, like we started out with, Rob went on, had a great presentation. We can do something like that. It's very easy to do, and it's greatly appreciated, and it's all about giving back and helping the next generation. So there's, yeah, reach out to me, let me know. We'll schedule something, whether we have to do it over Zoom or whatever that is, or in person setting like this. We'll make it work because we want to do what we can to help each other.
And where can they get a hold of you for any of the young professional stuff? And if you happen to know any young professionals that you would like to just kind of throw them into the fire and you know, get them going right away, how do we get a hold of you for that?
Yep. So I'm going to give you two different emails. One I check more than the other, and that's a work one. So joel.ferguson@edwardjones.com. Always reach me on that one. That one's easy. But for the young professionals specifically, it's president@lakenonayp.org. So again, president@lakenonayp.org. I know the .org usually gets a little tricky, so I want to make sure I clarified that aspect. But reach out to either of those platforms, and I'd be happy to connect them or get them involved however we can.
Excellent. And in addition, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crema de Nona. Right on YouTube, search it, and you can't miss us. Once you get there, you'll see a little coffee cup. That's going to be right by where Joel's watch is. So his watch is going to turn into a coffee cup. That's going to be a crazy feat. I guess you have to watch that part of it to see that. But subscribe it. Share that out to somebody, because with that, it can get in front of another person that perhaps they were thinking about starting their business, or perhaps they've already started and they're hitting a lot of roadblocks in. And rather than folding it and just walking away from it, maybe getting in touch with a group such as this could be enough to where, oh, okay, there is light at the end of the tunnel. You guys have gone through this same problem. I'd hate to see someone starting out that has something great to offer the world and stop that one step before the step that was the right one.
Yeah,
you
see it too many times.
Yeah, you never know. Those walls are invisible. So you hit that wall and you think you can't go further, when if you just take that leap of faith and one more step puts you out there. But get a hold of Joel. And again, you have any questions on any of that, myself, Julio, get in touch with us. We'll get you in touch with these guys. And if you know people that are in school and going through this, you heard today, there's programs that are out there that can be a benefit to you, both monetarily and really in your own head. Get your own head where it is. But use the resources that are out there. This costs absolutely nothing. I know you sit down with people, I sit down with people, that costs absolutely nothing. If I can help you and give you guidance on something, or turn you to somebody that can, I'm here for you. So anyway, with that, guys, enjoy the rest of your Friday. I thought this was really cool, bringing another group that we have right here in our own backyard that is out there kind of doing the same thing, corralling people up and just getting business out there, especially in these times with the Heineken thing and all that stuff.
I know.
Gotta keep
That dang
things
Heineken.
moving. Stay relevant. Stay on top of things. Don't go away. That will go away. You don't need to.
Yeah,
We will all find a way to get through all this stuff together. So,
exactly.
Joel, thanks again for hanging out with us. Remember his watch. Look at his watch. It's gonna change. It's gonna change. I think it just changed right there. But anyway, guys, have an amazing rest of your Friday. Enjoy your weekend. We're gonna have a lot of really cool stuff for you next week on Crema de Nona. Again, look up Young Professionals, and we'll get all that information in the description off of the YouTube channel. And we'll see you guys Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock in the morning, and as always, Friday as well at noon. With that, guys, have an amazing weekend again. Thanks for watching. See ya!